We've picked up a brand new trailer, interviews, new key art, and loads more interesting info in the last week for Star Wars Outlaws, so I'm going to break it all down for you here in this video so you are fully up to speed and know what's going on with this game. And let's start with the release date and some important need-to-know info first, because it will be officially launching on Friday, the 30th of August on the Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, Amazon Luna, and PC through Ubisoft Connect. If you're also a Ubisoft Plus subscriber, you will get it for free on launch day. Now, as for the game itself, it's an open world action-adventure game with no multiplayer or co-op options, but that said, the development team have confirmed it will not be a 200 to 300 hour unfinishable RPG like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, so you can expect it to be a reasonable length of around 50 hours or so, with actual time to 100% it yet to be confirmed by the team. We've also had confirmation that if you do grab a physical copy of the game, you'll still need an internet connection to install it and play it, but after the day one patch is loaded to your system, you'll then be able to play the game offline, which kind of seems to be the norm with games these days. Now, speaking of the norm, Ubisoft have announced different game editions and pre-order incentives for this game, which I'm going to swiftly run you through now. Firstly, we have the standard edition of the game, which is retailing at £59 and €69 and dollars for my American and European friends. We then have the gold edition of the game, which is where things start to get a little bit spicy here, as this is coming in at £94 and €109 and $109. This comes with the base game, of course, but also a season pass, which includes 2 future DLC expansions that will be arriving post-launch and within the first 12 months of release. You'll also get an exclusive Jabba's Gambit quest mission, a Kessel Runner cosmetic for Kay and Nix, which is a nice nod to Han Solo, and you'll be able to play the game 3 days early, which lands on Tuesday, the 27th of August. Now, as for our Ultimate Edition here, this is coming in at a very pricey £114 and €129 and dollars at the time of recording, which includes everything that we just went over in the Gold Edition, but also a Sabak Shark bundle, which are cosmetics for Kay in game, that being her blaster, Nix, her speeder, and her Trailblazer ship, as you can see here. You'll also grab the Rogue Infiltrator bundle, which includes a different variation of the same cosmetic options in game, and you will get your hands on a digital art book with a selection of concept art and behind the scenes info on how the game was actually made, if you're interested in that kind of stuff. On top of that, if you're living across the pond in the States and purchase from Target, you will pick up a steel bookcase with no confirmation as of yet on a collector's edition for this game, but I would be super surprised if they don't actually release one, as massive studios and by extension Disney recently made one for their Avatar Frontiers of Pandora game, and to be fair to them, that was a pretty good collector's edition. It was quite impressive actually, but it doesn't stop there, because if you do pre-order any of these editions that we've just gone through before release, you will get a Kessel Runner cosmetic pack for your speeder and ship. And I always like to say to kind of wait for more gameplay and previews before pre-ordering games, especially as Ubisoft likes to release these pre-order bonuses and story missions into Ubisoft Connect a few months after release for Ubisoft points. Assassin's Creed Mirage actually being the most recent example of this, so just bear that in mind before you do decide to pre-order. Now, we've actually got some new storyline info here, giving us a little bit more clarity on what this game is actually about, which I think is a good thing, as Navid Kavari, the narrative director, recently told Game Informer in an interview that Kay is an unassuming thief from Canto Bight, the casino city on the planet of Ketonica, which we recently were teased with in that story trailer, and we did see in the Last Jedi film, controversially. That said, she doesn't come from wealth or money. Instead, she grew up in the workers' district on the planet as a common pickpocket before becoming a fully fledged thief. Now, the core of this story is that she accepts a job which then goes sideways, where she then has a massive bounty placed on her head by Slero, who is the leader of the Zerek Besh criminal family, and now her current goal in this game is to recruit companions to help her then pull off the ultimate heist, which is stealing a shed load of credits from Slero essentially, and then being able to buy her way to freedom via his cash. Now, Julian Geraghty, the creative director, stated that this scoundrel story takes a lot of influence from Pirates of the Caribbean and Indiana Jones, so expect that kind of storytelling in this game. Now, speaking of companions, we've got further confirmation on who they will be in Outlaws. We of course have Nix, which is a new exotic creature in the Star Wars universe called a Meercow, with the team stating that Kay and Nix are a duo, and as such, they are both the main characters and come as one, with the gameplay being a mix between Watch Dogs, Spider-Bot, and BD1 from EA's Jedi games. If you played either of those, you'll kind of understand. We'll then end up recruiting ND5 during the story, who is a BX droid that was a veteran of the Clone Wars, who acts as a kind of bodyguard for Kay, with Julian stating that there's a reason why he wears his trench coat, as he has a very complicated past, which does sound intriguing. We also picked up some new info about Jalen, who we now know ends up headhunting Kay as he sees a lot of potential in her, where he becomes a mentor, and he has extensive experience and contacts in the criminal world, where Julian Girardi also stated that he wants to profit from his relationship with Kay due to her outlawish talents. We've also seen a Chandra fan and a 3PO droid appear in the recent trailer when companions were mentioned, but they haven't yet been officially confirmed, so I will update you in a future video if this does indeed change. Now, speaking of which, actually, if you are enjoying this video breakdown so far, please do leave a very swift like down below, and if you do end up giving the game a go, please consider using the AndyReloads credit code at Ubisoft checkout, because you will get 1 penny or 1 cent of your purchase, which is quite the saving indeed with these expensive games these days. But jokes aside, thank you very much for keeping me in mind. I really do appreciate your support. Now, as for Syndicates, they're going to be playing a huge role in this game, and we finally have them all confirmed. Firstly, we have the Pikes, who are the galaxy's supplier of spice, which is a narcotic substance mined by slaves on the planet of Kessel. We then have the infamous Hutt Cartel, who are the ultimate smugglers of illegal goods throughout the systems, as well as Crimson Dawn here, which were originally a group of brutal mercenaries that were then established by Darth Maul, and at the time of this game taking place, is led by Lady Kira, and who then went on to dominate the criminal underworld with Crimson Dawn, becoming the most powerful syndicate in the galaxy. We also have the newly created Ashiga clan, who operate with a hive mind, as they are these insectile humanoids with no mouth or eyes and are focused on respecting honor, tradition, and history in the criminal underworld. And finally, the Zerek Besh clan, which is led by Slero as the dominant syndicate during this game, and who we won't actually be able to earn a reputation with, as they're part of the main narrative, whereas the other 4 clans that we've just gone through will be able to increase our reputation meter with them, starting from terrible all the way to excellent as kind of parameters or reputation levels in this game, which will then determine how each of these criminal organizations then treat us in game. So for example, if we have a poor reputation level with the Pikes, they'll then kick us out of their hideout, as you can see here, and not provide us with new quests, rewards, or discounts at their vendors or shops. So it's really up to you which syndicate that you want to be good mates with, and this will then subtly affect the overall ending of the game. Now, syndicates aside, we've also picked up official confirmation of the amount of planets that will be in this game. The first being Katonica, which I mentioned earlier, which is home to the corporate entities that rule over the Outer Rim, where Kay grew up in. It's also home to a lot of smugglers and crime bosses, as you'd expect, so lots to be done here. Secondly, we have the moon of Tashara, which is a new location in Star Wars, where the main focus of Outlaws looks to be set in, with the devs comparing Jaunter's Hope on Tashara to Rambler's Reach from Jedi Survivor as a kind of loose home base inside its cantina. Thirdly, we have Akiva, which is a jungle world that we've been teased with, that has a large droid factory beneath the planet's surface in its catacombs that was important during the Clone Wars, that we will also be able to explore in game. Fourthly, we have Tatooine, where Mos Eisley Spaceport will be fully explorable and recreated with every single canon detail that has actually been provided by Lucasfilm, with the team mentioning it will be kind of like virtual tourism, which does sound really good fun, to be fair. And for our 5th planet, we have Kamiji, which is a mountainous, frosty planet where, after the decline of the Empire's influence, it became overrun with thieves and criminal syndicates. So of course, a great place for us to get involved in this game. Now, all of these planets have been handcrafted and not procedurally generated, with the team going on to say that they have prioritized making a smaller map here in this game with more dense activities inside them, which does sound very promising, but let's just kind of wait and see how that kind of looks when we do get more gameplay. Now, we also picked up some new info regarding our speeder, as we can see it here zooming across the water in the recent story trailer and in some official key art released by Ubisoft, with Game Informer stating that whilst we're on our bike, we can hear radio chatter as we're passing through different locations and regions in the game, which are the kind of start of side activities or world quests, which we can then go on to begin. Kind of like when you're swinging through the city in the Spider-Man games, if you played them, where random crimes occur and you can kind of choose to partake and sort them out. And that's kind of how I'm seeing this feature in this game. We'll also be able to customize this bike, perform tricks on it, with races not being yet confirmed in this game, but I'm sure that will be a feature, especially as the team have specifically designed this speeder around a Swedish motocross bike, which is essentially built for racing. So it would be wild not to have any sort of world side quest where we can actually race other NPCs in the game. I'm hoping that is included, but we'll just have to wait and see. Now, we can also parkour across buildings, roofs, and use our grapple gun to get to different locations in the environment, as also recently teased in the trailer, so expect a lot of verticality in the game's level design across all of these 5 planets. But what about the Empire in this game? Well, the game director, Matthias Carlson, recently stated in a developer breakdown video that the team wanted to show how the Empire interacts with the underworld and how their special arrangements work with the syndicates that actually benefit the Empire and not them being the main focus of a Star Wars game. In fact, the reputation system we discussed earlier does not apply to the Empire faction here, but rather the Empire is the faction that is almost like the police in GTA games, where they will hunt you down with elite enforcers like the Death Troopers we saw in the recent trailer if our wanted level does get too high, which is shown in the top left hand corner of the screen, as you can see here, with the Imperial Empire logo filling up the more that your wanted level rises. Now, this increases if you openly choose to go against the Empire in certain quests or generally cause trouble in the open world where the Empire has a kind of loose control or presence across these planets and space stations, such as attacking stormtroopers and generally just breaking the law in public. Now, we can reduce our wanted level by bribing officials or staying off the radar for a set period of time, which is a nice segue onto some new stealth details, as Julian, the creative director, told Game Informer recently that a scoundrel should sometimes avoid getting into combat, as stealth is a very important mechanic in this game. In fact, he said that there is a choice for us to either go in with our guns blazing as a kind of gunslinger, or we can choose to sneak around behind the scenes in quests, which would help us increase our reputation with several factions at once if we're not caught or being overtly disruptive against syndicates. But this game isn't just about stealthing into a compound and one-shotting guards with punch takedowns, as Game Informer said that they got caught by cameras and missed a well-hidden alarm system when they were completing a quest, which they could have disabled ahead of time by utilizing Nyx as their companion and not cause themselves so much trouble. They also said that when you are in an open world combat situation, or when you've been discovered by NPCs and then run out of line of sight, a blue silhouette was left behind where an NPC last saw you, similar to kind of Assassin's Creed, which gives me a little bit of hope that we may get some sort of social blending mechanic in this game when we're amongst crowds in cities. But again, let's just wait and see, and big fingers crossed for me there. Now, to be fair to Ubisoft, I think alongside Rockstar, they do a good job of releasing some quality official key art and screenshots in the lead up to their game's release, as well as future updates, and Outlaws here is no different. So I'm going to run you through a few here which I think are noteworthy and interesting for you to know. First up, we have an official look at Lady Kira, who is the leader of the Crimson Dawn faction and who you may remember was played by Emilia Clarke in the Han Solo film. So I wonder if she's completed some voice acting here in this game. We then have the Queen of the Ashiga clan here, as noted in a Game Informer interview, so we'll be needing to deal with her directly to build a better reputation with this clan. And speaking of clans, we also have Gorak here, leader of the Pikes, who we also saw teased numerous times in the trailer, and Jabba's palace on Tatooine, which I'm very much looking forward to running around inside and exploring in more detail. We also have what looks to be inside of a vault here, which I imagine is the loot room that we will be able to get ourselves into after completing certain in-game heists, as well as Kay sneaking around in an Imperial ship or perhaps a space station, as they have been confirmed to be explorable in this game around the orbit of certain planets, which does sound good fun again. Now, I recently made a detailed breakdown where I go through over 99 hidden details in the recent story trailer, so give that video a click on your screen right now, and hopefully I'll see you there in just a second. Big thanks to Nika and Voynich for helping me make this video. Cantina drinks are definitely on them, and I'll see you in that next video in just a moment.